Welcome, everybody, to our Saturday faculty call. And I really appreciate the time you're taking. And this is a subject that is close to my heart, mainly because when I got into network marketing, very, very different than traditional businesses. I couldn't hire people or fire people. And it took me years to figure out how to get to yes, either for people as customers or possible business partners. So the real intent today, and I'll ask you a question, and you can please put your answer in the chat. But what if you could not fail? What if when you're having conversations with people, you create a win-win? Would that be important to you? Would that be important to know how to develop rapport and a friendship and hopefully an eventual business partnership? Would that be important to you? Because if it's not important, you obviously shouldn't even be on this call or listening. So this goes back probably maybe 17 years ago. I don't know about you, but I banged my head against the wall for years, getting off the phone or walking away from a face-to-face, saying to myself, oh my gosh, I sounded like an idiot. And it took years to develop what I'm going to be teaching you today. And that's what I love about Zango University is there's two aspects of your success. One is your personal development, your mindset. And we handle that very well within the university. But your personal skills, your professional skills, are a direct proportion to your check. So you can have all the product knowledge in the world. You can have the proper mindset. But unless you apply specific skills, you're never going to be able to live your dream. So what we do here at Zango University is obviously commit to one by one, no one left behind, because I really, truly believe that there is no reason that everyone could not be successful. It's all about how badly do you want success, and what are you willing to learn and do and apply to have that success. So there might be some brand new people on the call who do not know who we are. Eddie and I are probably married more years than some of you are old. We've been with Zango since day one, so we just had our 13th, I'm not sure whether it's a birthday or an anniversary, but it's been 13 magical years. But guess what, guys? The people that join today, the people that put their hair on fire today will far exceed the success stories of the first generation. So we're really now mentoring the next generation of success stories. And the only way you can have success, if I asked you this question, what's the most important activity, to have success in the profession of network marketing? Who knows that answer? What is the most important activity? What is it? Nobody knows? That's hard to believe. What's the most important activity? It's having conversations. And what is just critical is what's coming out of your mouth. What are you saying? And based on myself, who I guess you would consider me a salesperson because I've built traditional businesses in the past by doing cold calling, network marketing is very, very different. Network marketing is developing relationships, developing an understanding of how to talk to anyone, whether you're standing in line at the supermarket, whether you're at an Apple class like I was yesterday and started chatting with another student, and whether you're sitting next to someone on a plane, whether you're typing or on Facebook, which is, I do a lot of social media, and when you're having conversations initially on Facebook, texting or typing is a conversation, but it's really important to find out where they are today versus where would they rather be. You know, what do they want? Why do they want it? What are they willing to do? And if they are ready to change where they are. On my business cards, if you've ever seen my business cards, behind Eddie's name, it says Ed Cohen, RPH. Does everyone know what RPH stands for? Put it in the chat box if you do. RPH stands for Registered Pharmacist. Behind my name, you'll see a PS. And I've been using PS for 17 years. And I don't think 7 people in all those years have ever asked me what a PS stands for. I think they think it's the sciences, but it stands for problem solver. I'm a problem solver. I have a solution only if you've got a problem that involves either you want better health or you want better finances. So if you can wrap your head around every conversation, what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is not to make a sale, is not to sign up a new customer, is not to sign up a new distributor. First and foremost is to make a new friend. To give you an example, I met this guy at the Apple store yesterday, and we only chatted for maybe 5 or 7 minutes, but I asked some questions, and he answered them, and at the end of that 5-7 minutes, I had to leave, and he came over and gave me such a giant hug, and then when Eddie and I were out to dinner, I got a text message from him how great it was to meet, and we're going to meet for coffee later this week. So it's about making new friends. It's not about trying to sell them anything or try to sign them up. So the key is, and this is really, really important, you need to identify, is there a need? Do they have a problem with either their health, their finances, or their retirement? And if they have a need, but they're not willing to do something about it and change, then guess what? You can't help them. But if they have a need and a desire to change, then we've got something to talk about. So what we're going to talk about is you. You are the solution to, first and foremost, building relationships. I mean, how many have heard, people do business with who they like and trust? Have you ever heard that before? I sure hope so, because it doesn't matter whether, you're selling wheelchairs or books or anything else. You sell you first. You are the solution. So they have to like and trust you before they will even, in fact, when I enroll someone, I ask for their credit card. I never get, oh my God, I don't know you. How can I trust you with my credit card? Because I'm a control freak. I don't know if you know that, but I am. And, I don't want them to make a mistake and maybe call the company and tell them the wrong ID number, and they end up somewhere where they should not be. But I've never, ever, ever had somebody say, oh no, Sandi, I can't trust you, because by the time we get to the point where I'm the solution to their problem, there is this trust. Now, here's what's hard, really, really hard, is to refrain from giving the solution too early. And, it's interesting. When I first got into network marketing, which is now about 21 years ago, there's always this teaching on how do you handle objections. So what are some of the objections that you get when you're interacting with someone? What are some of the objections that you get? I have no time. I have no money. I have to check with my spouse. All the typical objections that I think have been in the profession for 80 years. Well, when I'm interacting with someone, when it's time to make a decision to purchase, I don't have objections because they've all been handled in the conversation or the dialogue before we get to the point. So, I always say something like, well, if you find something you really love and could be passionate about, are you ready to get started right away? And, if they say, yeah, well, are you the decision maker or do you depend upon somebody else? And I love that because, especially guys who like to feel they're in control, they don't want to tell me, well, I can't make the decision. I have to check with my wife if I can spend a couple $100. So they don't want to say that. And I'll say something like, you've got kids, you've got church, you've got your job. Where in the world are you going to find at least 7 hours a week to work your Zango business if you decide to join and take advantage of the huge tax advantages? You're already time-starved. Where are you going to find the time? So up front, before we go into what we have as a solution, I'm always asking questions that could be an objection when it's time to pull out the credit card. So listen to what is being said, but what do they really mean? And the only way you're going to find out about that is to keep asking questions and resist on vomiting or being a fire hose on them, because you got the solution. But until they're ready to say, I'm ready for a solution, then you hold back. Now, most of us who have been in sales know the traditional selling pyramid, where you only spend about 10% of time building rapport. You find out what their needs are for the product or service that you have, and you spend about 30 minutes on the presentation, and the majority of time is almost spent on the close. In network marketing, if you do it right, and if you get your professional skills honed and correct, we are the exact opposite of what is called traditional selling, because 90% of your time is about building that friendship, building that relationship, building that trust, building that rapport, and only 5% is about the presentation. And then, of course, through the university, we have an enormous amount of tools and videos that I use. In fact, someone on the team who's a member of the $1 Million Club, as a matter of fact, asked me to send copies of emails of what I send to people, because I know what works, guys, and that's how I, quite honestly, sponsor a minimum of about 3, maybe 4 people a month. So I love to teach what I'm doing because it's working, unlike other teachers, other mentors who teach and don't do. So I love to teach what works, and if it's not working, I tweak it and fix it so it does. But we love also the opinion approach, and Zango has given us amazing samples with which people can get an immediate response, like the Zalo Pro line. And even though I really don't love giving out open products, Elaviv is, one of my friends calls it the marriage saver, because Elaviv, oh my goodness, if Eddie or I don't take Elaviv even for one day, oh my goodness, what a difference in our focus, in our attitude. But I've been now putting in Ziploc bags to people that know me, obviously, because you never want to really give open pills or product to somebody that you don't know. Just a 7-day supply, and they can really see a difference within 7 days. And it's interesting that if it's someone you know, you could even give Aries for a 7-day supply. Try. And what I'm going to start doing is let somebody have a new system initially for 7 days, but get their credit card. So if they don't get it back to you, tell them right up front, you can try it for 7 days, try the instant IHL, see that immediate result that you get, the brightening effect when you use the renewal concentrate, just in 7 days with the collagen, the amazing difference you start to see. But I need it back within 7 days, or I will have to charge your credit card. They do this in other companies as well. And I said to a friend of mine, so what do you do when you have to recycle that? She said, oh, I just clean it up and put it out again. But I would only do this with people you know and trust for sure. But the opinion, I love your opinion. Would it be okay if I sent you some information? Now, you may or may not be open, and that's okay. But don't tell the whole story up front until they are ready. And how do you know they're ready? Well, the reality is people either move away from pain and go towards pleasure. So I love to use the analogy of a dog lying on the porch and the farmer's on the roof fixing his roof. And a neighbor walks by and shouts to the farmer on the roof, hey, Joe, your dog is whining. Why is she whining? And the farmer on the roof says, well, she's in pain. And the farmer walking by says, well, why is she in pain? And the farmer on the roof says, well, she's laying on a nail. And the farmer neighbor says, well, why doesn't she move? And the guy on the roof says, well, I guess it doesn't hurt bad enough. And I actually use this in my presentation as we are having our dialogue. You know, are you lying on a nail? Is it hurting bad enough that you're ready for change? And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, if you find something that you love and could be passionate about, where do you see yourself? Are you on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest? And if they don't say an 11 or 12, or they say an 8, I'll say, well, what is it going to take for you to be a 10 to change your life? And I do all of that before I send information. So how do you start a conversation? And, you know, I learned something probably 17 years ago. So it took me 3 years of banging my head against the wall. And I promised I would teach people who really wanted to be successful what I learned. And you never, ever leave a situation without making something happen. Just like at the Apple store yesterday. You know, there was a gentleman there. He was also taking a training on Keynote, and I had to start a conversation because I only had 5 minutes left in my class time, and he was just starting. So I knew I could not leave that situation without something happening. So I started a conversation about his taking the Keynote and how long has he been doing it, or I'll compliment something about what somebody's wearing, or maybe something like, maybe you can help me. Do you know anyone in your area who's been downsized, or someone who's thinking about starting their own business? I'm looking for someone in your part of the country to train and partner with all our proven systems and tools in place, who might want to take advantage of huge tax advantages. Are you aware of the huge tax advantages of a part-time home-based business? So it's always about asking questions. And most importantly, you know, what do you do? How long have you been doing it? You know, what do you love? What do you dislike? If they're in their 50s, you know, are you set for your retirement goals? Joke, joke, joke. You know, most people have nothing ready for retirement. What do you like? What do you dislike about what you're currently doing? And if you had all the time and money of the world, what would you rather be doing? And almost the number one answer people say to that question is travel. And with Zango, hopefully you all know, 2 trips a year. And you don't have to wait till you're a premier or above. somebody getting started today could be eligible for the Paradise trip that we're going on in February and another one in August. I mean, think about that. Traveling first class with Zango paying the bill from day one. And what's really, really exciting, I think more than anything, is that somebody coming in today, in 2015, with everything that's in place now, can far exceed the income of those who have come before. Now, that's not true in other companies, in other compensation plans, but it is fact in Zango. So just remember that when you're talking to somebody, when they come in today, they could far exceed faster than the 500Ks that are currently in place. So in red, you'll see when they ask you eventually, well, what do you do? I mean, if you're asking enough questions, eventually they're going to say to you, well, what do you do? And you've already had the dialogue, so you know where they are, you know where their pain is, you know already what they'd rather be doing, and you haven't talked about Zango yet. You know, it's all about this developing this trust and rapport. So when they ask you, well, what do you do? Well, you know how, and depending upon what your conversation has been, your answer will, you know, how. So many people are finding it hard to get ahead with downsizing, lack of job security. Well, you know how so many families have to put their kids in daycare when moms would rather be home to see their babies' first steps, their first words. Well, you know how most people have lack of free time. Most people know it's harder to make money and even harder to keep money. So this takes practice, guys. It takes lots and lots of practice. But I write this phrase down. Would it be okay? This is magical because when I use this, would it be okay? I don't think I've ever had somebody saying no. Would it be okay to exchange our contact information? So I'll give you my personal information, and may I have yours. And I used to write things in a little orange Zango notebook I kept in my in my bag. Well, now I've switched to an iPhone 6 Plus, which is huge. So I now have a special purse, so I don't have a place anymore to keep that little book. But now on my iPhone, I've got the AMP app, which is part of the Get AMP toolkit. And I just hand them my phone and say, would it be okay for us to exchange information? And would you please put in your contact information? And is it okay if I send you some really exciting and funny things over the next few days? Would that be all right? So I let the tool do that. If you fill this out and you go to my website, and I guess it's a giftfromus.com/demo, a giftfromus.com/demo. But mine is, I have a URL redirected, giftfromsandyanded.com. I said, if I send you to my website, would you watch just a 2-minute video and let me know what impressed you the most? What impressed you the most about what you saw with a physician explaining a product that will give you your best day yet every single day, and include your mailing address, and I might even be willing to send you some samples. Fair enough? So maybe there is a local event that you're having. Maybe they're open to the business and you want to send them either to a sizzle call or a short business overview. Lots and lots of options depending upon the conversation that you've had. There's more that you could practice. Well, when they ask you, what do you do? Well, what I do is help families set up their part-time or full-time business so that they can put back in their pocket somewhere between $2,000 and $6,000 a year in just legal tax advantages. Well, what I do is help people that want to get out of bed, and when their feet hit the floor, their heart sings looking forward to their day. Well, what I do is give people their lives back in control. And I always use this one. Well, what we do, we really consider ourselves ageless advocates and educate people how to live longer, healthier. Do you also think that's important? And I use that a lot when people are in another company that doesn't have our kind of products. So very, very important, regardless if someone's in another network marketing company or not. And sometimes what I do is help people fire their boss. Is that something that you think you'd be open to exploring? Love the word open, never use the word interested. Okay, so just remember this, and this is hard, trust me, to resist. You're not selling, you're not telling. The minute they say, oh, I wish I had more money, I wish I had more time, I hate my job. I mean, I was on the phone with a young woman maybe a couple of weeks ago that she was literally crying on the phone. She was so thrilled that we met because if they have been in other network marketing companies, you can almost guarantee they have not had success. And if you ask them, why do you think you were not successful? Almost the number one reason I get, what do you think it is? Can you put it in the chat room? When I ask people that have tried other companies, and of course, you know my story. I was in 11 companies before Zango. But of course, been with Zango for 13 years and my previous company for 7 years. So that's 20 years only in 2 companies. So those first couple of years, I was in so many I couldn't keep track. Exactly, Mark. Not only no support, but no training, no mentorship. And it's amazing how people follow people, and it's like the blind leading the blind. And I ask this question every time. How important would it be for you to be mentored by million and multi-million dollar earners so that if you did what we taught you, you could not fail? How important would that be? And what do you think their answer is? Every single time. Anybody know? You should know, because you should be asking that question. The answer always is, it would be priceless. What would it be worth to you to be mentored by million and multi-million dollar earners? And that's what we do in Zango. It is priceless. But it's always about you keep asking questions. And I used to love the show Columbo. And I think Peter Falk has died, if I can recall. But, he would scratch his head and he'd have his cigar hanging out of his hand. And he'd keep asking, could you repeat that? And would you elaborate? So what you're saying is, and, I love the one that says, well, how does that make you feel? But you've got to say that one with sincerity. So if you found something that you could be passionate about, what would that mean to you? Would you want to commit to possibly partnering? So it's all of this is before you even talk about what you have as their solutions. There are other key statements that I use that work so well. I'm so excited. I just found out. And then you just follow it with whatever has been part of the dialogue that you know is going to hit their pain button, because you're going to offer them a solution to move away from pain towards the pleasure that they are looking for. Would it be okay if I could send you some information that would explain about our business, and I might even be willing to send you a sample? Would that be fair? And then again, pulling out the mobile device if I'm in front of them. But if I'm not in front of them and I'm over the phone, I explain, well, I would love you to experience that. Our company has provided such unique 21st century tools that makes the business so much easier and faster than ever before. We didn't have all this stuff when we came into Zango 13 years ago. We had a 6-page fax. But I want you to experience these tools. In fact, our AMP app was actually developed for the government. It was developed by NASA. And it has something to do with the mental psyche and relationship building. And while I'm sleeping, and if you join the team while you're sleeping, it's doing the magical follow-up. And this is where most people fail, is in the follow-up. So I'd love you to experience this app. So would it be okay if I put you in? So expect some text messages, maybe some emails, but I'm also going to put you into our website. It's called My Zango Builder, that also does some amazing, amazing things as far as product education. And if you're open to the business side, a lot on the business as well. Okay? Fair enough? Awesome. So I get permission before I start sending them through the autoresponder system. Now, this is coming to the end of 2015. And I don't know about you, but once I passed 40, which was a very long time ago, time seemed to go into hyperspeed. And I think you'll agree that yesterday is gone. We can't make up for yesterday. That time is spent. It's gone. We have today and we have tomorrow. So you need to make a decision. We've got, I don't know what, about a week left in November, and then we've got the month of December. And my personal experience in 21 years, how you end 2015 is going to set you up for next year. So you must not let the holidays get in the way of ending 2015 strong, so that you can be strong in 2016. So we've got the holidays. Shop from your own Zango back office to give the gift of good health, to feed a child who's dying of starvation in the honor of someone that you, because Zango will actually send out a gift card that a meal pack to save a child from dying has been donated in their honor. The Orange Fridays are starting next Friday with lots of special gifts, extra, and especially the lip balm. When I go to a convention and they have these huge bins of lip balm, if you've ever seen me grab a shopping bag, and I usually put 3 dozen in the shopping bag because I know it's the only time I can get them, and they're free of propylene glycol, they're free of any toxic ingredients, especially for the winter. They're great little gifts when a new partner or customer comes on board. Well, you get some free now with the Orange Friday specials. So if you were on the Get Amped call at 8 a.m. Pacific this morning, you know about that. And if you don't know about it, if you're on my daily email list, I'll forward the emails. But it's really, really important to shop and give the gift of good health, because you can place the volume under a customer and get back a 15% commission or rebate. I mean, it's a no-brainer, guys. Okay? So what I'm doing in my pre-launch for January, I've made my top 10 in motion, my top 10, and that keeps changing, because as I check people off the list, I always have 10 people on my, what I call my hot list, that I'm contacting, and I'm saying something like, I know we haven't connected in ages, but, you know, I'm so excited about a new project I'm starting January 1. And it's okay. You may or may not be open to what I'm doing, but I've got a list of top 10. And I've got you on that list. They don't have to know that it's my second list of top 10 or my third list of top 10, but they're on my top 10 list. So you're on my top 10 list. And I'm creating an inner circle. I am creating a team where we're going to do some wonderful things in 2016. Now, I haven't told you what it's about yet. I just need to know, are you open to knowing more? Are you open to possibly being part of my inner circle that I'm pre-launching now to get ready for 2016? Are you in or are you out? And so far, of course, people say, well, tell me more. I will. You just got to tell me. First, are you open to being part of the inner circle? And then I'm going to send you some information about my new project, because January 1 is a whole new game, guys, with all of the tools, with all of the products that we currently have. And rumor has it, there's even new products coming. I can't promise what they are because I don't really know, but I think somebody slipped that something's coming. So you want to have people in that inner circle to be the first to know about all the exciting things that you are creating. And remember, first and foremost, the conversation is the relationship. The conversation starts the trust before you talk about your business, because timing, how is it that, I think Gordon Morgan said it at the XBA. By the way, if you haven't been to XBA, you really need to register. They're going to have them every 2 months, and they're only $99. And you get $400 worth of product for attending, plus all the training. So it's a no-brainer, guys, but it fills up fast. I think the January one is almost already gone. So call customer service, 877-GO-ZANGO. Get registered for January, and if not, then, of course, the March one. But the relationship is the key, because, as Gordon said, and I'm sure you've heard this, some will, some won't. So what? Next time. Because if you stay connected to people today, might not be good timing, but if you haven't connected with them in 3 months or 3 years, don't assume they're still in the same place, because this is the time of year where people start reflecting. Am I down on the promises I made to myself? Am I down on the promises I made to my family? Am I down on the promises of where I thought I would be at my age now? So whether you're 25 or like Wayne Williams, who's 95 years old and actively working his business, he was at the XBA, and when I asked him, Wayne, why are you doing this? I mean, you're 96 years old. And his comment was something like, I have so many more lives to help and touch, and this is what keeps me young. And he was so proud. I helped him download apps on his mobile device, and he went to show Gordon Morton how he's got apps on his mobile device. So if somebody 96 can learn how to do this technology stuff, guys, no excuses, because the reality is those who use technology will just build bigger businesses globally than those who don't. Does that make sense? So whether you grew up with technology or me that did not, but I'm smart enough to know that if I don't embrace technology, I'll be left in the dust. Do you want to be left in the dust, or do you want to be the kind of leader that other people want to follow? So ask yourself this. What do you do on a daily basis? If I were to ask you to show me your calendar, which should be on your mobile device, I don't even know if Franklin Covey and Daytimers are even still in business. I used to carry these big, beautiful leather binders. Everything now is on my mobile device. So when you go to bed at night and you look at your calendar on your mobile device, it should tell you what you need to do every hour on the hour. If you have work time, if you have playtime with the kids, if you've got gym time, all of this should be in your calendar, because your calendar is your boss. And if you look at your calendar and your team looks at your calendar, would they want to follow what you do? Are you setting the example of what you're telling your team to do? So you've heard this before. It's nothing new. You must lead by example. Does that make sense? So we do a call every Wednesday, and it's all-out massive action. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for people who really, really want to, put their hair on fire. And we do a buddy system. So if you're in that closed group on Facebook, I challenge you to screenshot your calendar, and I know how to do it on an iPhone. I just hit the home button with the button on the right. I don't even know what it's called, and it takes a screenshot. So I challenge you, 500K, and I don't even know what this stuff is called. I just know how to do it. But I challenge you to screenshot your calendar to your mentor or your buddy, so you can show you, in fact, are leading by example. Thank you, Mark. The on-off button. I always forget what it's called. So it's the on-off button on the top right of your iPhone, and I assume it's on all iPhones because I've got a 6 Plus whatever, and then the home button, and then it takes a screenshot. I really just found that out literally this month. I didn't know how to do that before this month. So it just goes to show you, learning should never stop. But what I want to share with you today is that you are the solution. You are the solution to helping people get what they want. But you first have to know, what do they want? And what are they willing to do, and what are they willing to sacrifice to live the life that they deserve? So remember, always dialogue, have questions before you send out the information. And I hope that makes sense. And believe it or not, I've been teaching this probably for 15 years, and I did a search on my old computer yesterday, and I found this document, and I couldn't believe I found it. It just goes to show you that, backup of everything is golden. But it's a 2-page document with a summary of everything that I've gone over. And I will paste this in Zengo University. So this document will be available to you as a resource. And we'll probably put it in the library under scripts and resources. And I still live by this today. I mean, if it works, don't change it. It's fundamental basics. And if you haven't experienced Zengo University yet, you're really missing out on a tool that, I remember in the early days, we used to mail packages to people with it was originally audio cassette tapes, and it moved to CDs, and then, we had to send them priority mail, and our goal was to send out at least 3 packages a day. So you were looking at maybe $15 a day, 5 days a week. I mean, you were talking, plus you had to buy the CDs, which, we bought them in hundreds, which is a couple $100 a month. I mean, you're speaking hundreds of dollars a month that we had to spend for prospecting tools. So this is the 21st century today, guys. We send links with MP3s and videos. We don't have to mail anything to anybody. And the university is only $15 a month. Give me a break. We went out to dinner last night, and my entree was more than $15. And if you get my Zengo Builder Toolkit, the Get Amp Toolkit, that's only another $15. But both of them get less if you commit to a 3-month or a 6-month. So for like $30 a month, you've got all the tools that you need for your success. So if you'd like a 3-day pass to the university, just send an email to faculty@xuworldwide.com, and we'll be happy to send you a 3-day pass
so you can explore two of the most important buildings, I think. And if you go to xuworldwide.com, you'll see the 9 buildings there. But the product education building with all the science and research and all the videos, as well as the prospecting tools building with not only explaining the compensation plan, but actually business overviews, both short ones and longer ones, depending on your potential partner, and to have available to send out to people. And, of course, the Masters of Motivation building is where I am extracting our 30-day Rewire Your Brain. So if you're getting those Rewire Your Brain every morning, I'm not going to do it on Sunday morning. I might not even do it today because it's late already. I might do it just Monday because I just started it, Monday to Friday. But the brain chemistry, the brain research is proving that if you start your day first off with something that's very, very positive and inspirational, you're going to be able to achieve more and do more. And there's literally thousands of dollars worth of information and inspirational videos in Zango University. So if you'd like a 3-day pass for free, just send me an email at faculty@xuworldwide.com. So we're coming to the close, and as most of you know, my favorite song, and it all has to do with having a millionaire mindset, because you can do this. You can get the job done. And I'm going to close with the song, and the lyrics are in the screen, and if you'd like to sing along, please do. And let's have an amazing, strong end of the month so that you can live your dream, because you deserve it. So here we go, guys. Whoops.
Happy holidays to everybody. Let's just get the job done. Have a great weekend.